Good morning, everybody. John Spiokli here for GAI Insights on the GenAI news briefing. We got 7 articles this morning, tons of analysts. It's going to cram your brain with useful prioritization into essential, important, or optional. And with that, over to David DeLallo.
All right. Thank you, John. And, we have the exciting reveal of Adam's entry into the theme song for the news briefing contest, but we're going to save that until after the articles because we want to get through everything and make sure that we get the information out there. First and foremost, we've got some interesting things to discuss today. We will talk about what Moderna is doing with generative AI and specifically with OpenAI in partnership. We've got Cohere coming with another announcement for some software development kits, or a toolkit as they're calling it. We have Synthesia making some improvements. We'll discuss whether they're actually significant improvements. We've got China coming in with a model that they say rivals GPT-4, a couple others. So without further ado, Ankash, can you kick us off?
Sure, thanks, David. So the first one that we have for today is from Moderna, and they are using OpenAI's GPTs for doing everything. They are saying that they have almost automated their legal processes and are looking to adopt GPTs across everything.
Yeah, what do you think about this, John?
I thought it was essential reading as a, nice short article. They're talking about how they're using generative AI throughout the organization, drug discovery, but also into, manufacturing, HR, the kind of things that, we talk about when we do how we'll go to our clients and say, where can you find value? This whole notion of operating leverage. And he basically says the same thing we recommend, which is, on your way to doing innovative and amazing stuff. And when I say he, the CEO, on your way to doing innovative and amazing stuff, you can save yourself a lot of money. And they're committed to having everybody in the organization using ChatGPT at least 20 times a day. And I think that's pretty committed. So in the panoply of case studies necessary to help the AI leader go get the dough they want to do the things they want to do, this to me is essential.
Yeah, they've built 750 GPTs. Now, I assume that they're talking about using what is accessible to any ChatGPT Plus member there, but maybe I don't know if the enterprise grade version is slightly different. Hopefully it is, because I know when I build my GPTs, they go off the rails frequently.
I'm predicting Adam's going to come back the other way here.
What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, so I rated this as optional. It seems like a lot of fluff to me. The fact is they aren't using GPT Enterprise yet. It says it'll be available to all of their employees by the end of the week. So basically what this is saying is they're buying GPT Enterprise and they're trying to make a big deal out of it. All of those 750 custom GPTs are just individuals using ChatGPT and making their own bots. When it gets into things that sound really impressive, like it says, I can't find it. It says, they're using it to select optimal doses or this and that. Like, where was it here? It combs through swaths of research to draft answers to questions from regulators. Basically, that means someone uploaded some of their PDFs into a custom GPT and they're chatting with it. Like, it sounds like a lot of big, impressive words to me, but other than some sort of high-level vague use cases, I didn't really get much out of this in terms of what Moderna is doing, other than really forward-looking, promises. So,
yeah,
I was seriously underimpressed, but that's just where
I was a little concerned when they said they're using a GPT to suggest optimal doses, when they had listed it here as if, like I said, I think, and as you just said, I think they're just building custom GPTs like anybody else. And you're like, wow, that's a pretty risky use case to be using just a generic,
years of previous research and medical knowledge to predict optimal doses for clinical trials. So are they just uploading that to the training data at OpenAI? Or am I missing something?
Listen, Moderna is in trouble. It has one product. and no more. They need more. This is a marketing piece announcing the partnership with OpenAI with the intent, and it's written so that say that they're using it, but they're not really yet. So yeah, I would not use it as a use case, not yet. So for me, it's optional.
Well, they're not using it. Well, wait a second. Let's not get confused here. They're using tons of Chat GPT. You know, they don't have enterprise available to everybody, but everybody in the organization has been trained. They've deployed 750 agents here. This is lots to use. I mean, you know, yes, the next phase has been announced and not implemented. But let's
All right, I'm gonna split the difference and say important because it does show the commitment from the company. It shows that they've clearly done some training across the board. They're encouraging it rather than shutting it down. All the things that everybody said here is valid.
The great peacemaker. Way to go, David.
But yeah, I'm just going to be the Switzerland here. Okay, let's move on. We'll say important on this one and go to the next one.
Okay, so the next one is a research paper which talks about the pitfalls and opportunities for GenAI in patient messaging systems.
Okay, Luda. Thoughts?
Yeah, I rated this article as optional. We've talked about how generative AI can be really used in healthcare, and this is one example. The researchers generated a whole bunch of queries through an LLM that cancer patients can make. And then radiologists responded, and then an LLM responded, and they compared answers. And in a large number of cases, they could send the answers back to the patients without adjustments. But there were some that needed adjustment and recommendations to go for help, right? So it's an article that overviews how this can help, but not really important to read, I think. So optional for me.
Any other thoughts? Amanda, thoughts? By the way, your face is covered by your name if you want to scoot your camera down a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's weird. So for me, I'm on the optional camp as well because I didn't really see anything in here that struck me as extremely important. That's the easiest way I can say it. It just kind of gave the typical things that we hear about there's a potential to reduce physician workload, enhance patient education, things that I've heard in other places where LLMs and ChatGPT is being used. So I'm on optional for this one.
All right. Sounds like optional it is. By the way, it said 7% of the things that the LLM wrote could pose a risk to the patient, which I'm surprised they didn't put in the headline to make this sensationalized. But I guess it's coming from Medical Express, so it's not coming from a rag that might do that. Okay, we will go optional and move to the next one.
Okay, so the next one is about a startup called Stainless, and they are helping the big LLM vendors build SDKs for their APIs.
Yes, they've got some impressive clients to their name, including OpenAI. What did we think about this, Adam?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Michael Novak, probably our most avid listener and always throwing in such good commentary from the Peanut Gallery. I just want to say I really appreciate all of your input, Michael. Thanks as always for being here. So specifically regarding Stainless, I was sort of on the fence about this piece of news. I know there are other competitors in the space that do what they do. So I was on the fence between optional and important. Important because it is important in general to understand the role that SDKs play above and beyond an API, right? So an API is the plumbing that allows you to connect to, for example, OpenAI to use a GPT model. But it's very difficult for developers in all of these different languages to easily make that connection. And an SDK really simplifies that for them across an array of languages and programming languages, and that's what Stainless is offering. So that in itself kind of put it on the fence for me. I probably tipped the scale towards important because of the fact that they have OpenAI, Anthropic, and LangChain, which are all really big players, in my opinion, in the space as customers, right? Which is probably a reason to pay attention to them. And I just wanted to maybe elevate a little more awareness about this type of capability and the tools that are coming to market to make it easier to use these APIs.
Yeah. However, I would say if you do the math, because they actually gave a lot of figures on their revenues and how much it costs to use what they do, they might not have a ton of customers, because I guess it can cost up to $30,000 a year for their service. Their revenue is $1 million. So pretty small operation, 10-person team, although they expect it to double by the end of the year. But we've got an important vote here. I was in the optional camp personally. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was optional.
I was optional.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Convince Adam that it's optional.
I was on the fence. I could be convinced down. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say in comparison to Moderna.
Well, actually, John, there is a case to be made for important, because you can't use API without a software development kit with all the environment, or you spend time to figure out how to use this API. So software developers are very aware of it. So for the techies, for the geeks in our audience, this is important, that there is a whole slew of offerings that would make it more efficient for them to use APIs. So the case is there for the important.
Yeah, I could go either way.
But does the AI leader not know this?
Not necessarily.
I hadn't really thought about it till I read this article today, to be honest.
It's in the weeds. When you are really using it, maybe Amanda and people who really program, I don't do it full time. So it's you have to do it. You have to look at the environment. You have to collect the tools before you can use the API. So it's a time waster, and here's an automation, and it will become better. So.
All right. Well, it's the weekend coming up, so there's time to read. So I will be liberal and get on the important wagon. We do have a couple arguments for it. We will go with important, and we will go on to the next article, please, Ankash.
Okay. So the next one is from Synthesia, and Synthesia's video avatars, they will now feature emotions as well.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to have you play the two clips here. And I know you can't have the sound, but that's kind of some of my point. I didn't really see a huge difference between the demonstration of this person or avatar with emotion and without emotion. It's very, very subtle. Seems a little subtle to be a news announcement to me, which made me feel optional about it. But who did I assign this one to? John, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was optional. I think it's kind of cool that you can add, a little bit more emotion. The difference between the two videos, if you're watching, isn't that great? It's not 100% there. I mean, still, again, if we go back 24 months, amazing that you can do this so easily and cheaply. But, the marginal difference of this article in today's environment, it's a big O, baby.
Yeah, she smiled just a little. You saw a little hint of smile there. But when she was talking about disappointment, her face kind of stayed the same as it always is, because they all always kind of look a little bit flat. Any other votes for anything other than optional here? We'll move on quickly from this.
I'll just say I feel bad for him. Just what was it last week? Microsoft announced Vasa 1, which basically does this maybe even a little better from a single image. Like some of these companies, they're on version 5 of their product. Like they've been building for a year now, and they're just going to get laps run around them.
Yeah, and I think they said that they last raised last June, and they were valued. Were they valued at I think it was $1 billion, but kind of question mark whether that value has stayed the same. Okay, optional. Next one.
Okay, so the next one is from protein structures. So generative AI is being used by ETH Zurich to develop new drugs based on their protein structures.
All right, Bosch was in the mix on this one. What did you think, Luda?
I rated this article important for several reasons. Even though we know that other things have been done synthesizing or actually proposing designs of proteins and other compounds, this is more specialized, but it is quite important. So they fed the LLM the 3D structure of a protein and synthesized molecules that bind to it that can be used as drugs that can be synthesized. So they put the cases in training data that focused on synthesis, and the proteins they used were in like sugar and fatty acids to guide metabolism in the body. So very important area, and they made it open so that it can be used for other areas. So I really feel that for the researchers in this space, this is an important and open tool that they can use for further research. So important for me.
All right. Others, any thoughts there?
I agree with Luda. I think it's important also. I think it is talking about some research aspects in there, and it may be more important for clients in the biotech and drug discovery space than others, but I agree for the reason she said as well that it's important.
Well, I'm telling you, that vacation, I'm looking for the show me the money Luda I knew before you went on vacation. This thing's in the lab, baby. I mean, this isn't applied, and the one thing that they computed, they're not even going to pursue. But I agree, it's important. Anyway, the
Right.
more you standards, Luda, watch out.
Well, but the reason it is not pursued because it is a research institution. So what they would do is DSM works with my prior employee works with this organization quite a bit. So they might pick up those targets and go with it. So the right company would pick up this tool and make it into a product. So it's not there in this article, but it opens the door to these new products, and it's open source. So I really feel that this is a good one. Yeah, but show me the money is a good one.
The one thing I'd add in terms of because I was thinking it is very vertical specific, but the what they call groundbreaking new process, which ensures that the molecules can be chemically synthesized.
Yes.
Like they have it match an existing protein structure, and they also then removed many of the risks around side effects. And that may be specific to that vertical, but I can start to sort of extrapolate into other verticals by analogy, how people may be able to start using similar processes in other verticals to get results more quickly that are really achieving positive outcomes. So I was on the fence, but I think I could be important as well on this.
Okay, sounds like we'll come down on important for this. Thank you, everybody, for those contributions. We have a next article here about Cohere.
Yes, so the next one from Cohere talks about the new toolkit that they have launched, which sort of helps in application development.
All right, they're rapid fire here lately with the announcements. I feel like we've been talking about them about once a week for the last 3 to 4 weeks. What did we think about this particular announcement, Amanda?
Yeah, so I guess I can go either between optional and important. Because again, to me, this is a lot of capabilities. It's sort of, marketing, just kind of what's out there. I mean, it goes into some of the capes of it. So open source repository, like you said, I haven't been on the calls in the morning, but there have been a lot of announcements coming out. That's why I'm kind of more on the optional camp. Just something to note. It talks about in here the interfaces, the models, their proprietary models. So yeah, I can be talked up or down on this one, but again, it's an announcement of different capabilities, so I can go either way.
Yeah, Novak notes the the geopolitics of this thing that Switzerland's trying to say, okay, we have high quality AI that is unbiased and so forth. It's kind of interesting. So that to me would take it up to important because of that, but I had it as optional.
Yeah.
Look at it as optional.
Any arguments for important? Nope. All right, we will stick with optional, and we have one more.
Okay. So the last one is from SenseTime, and they have launched a new model, which it says rivals GPT-4 Turbo.
Okay, last one of the day. Close us out, Adam.
I was really hoping for some more details. They say it rivals it. I see nothing to back that up. So I was optional and really kind of a wait and see mode. It is significant to see a model coming out of China. They claim rivals GPT-4 Turbo, but at this point, as far as I can tell, it's hearsay, right? And I couldn't get any more detail on it. So just for really lack of transparency, I hesitate to elevate this above optional news.
Okay, what do you think, John?
Sorry.
John?
Sorry, just protecting you from my pugs. I think it's optional. I think I was just looking online for an old cartoon by Gon Wilson, where there's a picture of there's a portrait painter who's painting this very enfeebled old king, and the portrait he paints is he looks like a robust Henry VIII. I mean, he's just big, and there's two giant guards on either side of the artist as he's painting this thing, and the enfeebled king looks at it and says, "Yeah, perfect likeness," and it's I would not want to be the product manager for this company in China, right now. Can you imagine the pressure to beat ChatGPT-4 as one of the 4 Chinese dragons? I mean, look at what they did to Jack Ma. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Anyway, optional, but the pressure. Can you just even imagine the pressure on these characters?
Yeah.
They're probably like directly in conversation with the top of the Chinese government.
I would think, and it's just
and on the CEO, because it's a public company, and the article details what happened to the stock. It went like crashing, and now it got a little bit of the uptick. They didn't provide the data, but when they provide the data, suppose it's not that good, it would crash again. It's just, I don't want to be the CEO of that company for sure.
All right. Are we ready for the big reveal? Adam, so there's a video associated with Adam's theme song.
Woo-hoo.
I can't remember what platform you used to create this.
So first of all, this is Suno version 2. This is actually not the latest version of it. And then I just put it together in Clipchamp, which is the free Microsoft product for throwing videos together.
All right, here we go.
With news that'll make you say, I. And the breakthroughs essential to the trends that are optional. Join us daily for the AI News Review. It's the AI, bringing facts and insights. We're in the know. From essential to important and the optional too. We've got the AI News. Just
All right, a little bit of branding issue in there with the older older slide, but otherwise, what did you guys think? I think it's pretty cool.
Good job, Adam.
Good job.
That's great. Works for me. Yeah, get the right branding slides in there, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's just a lot of
Very cool. That might wake me up more in the morning. If that's like I could subtract
wow, there you go.
coffee to come off the table for that. Okay, what is our summary, Ankaj? Here we go. We have 1, 2, 3 important articles for today. Wow, we didn't give people a lot of homework for this weekend. We're going to have to keep that in mind next time. But I guess the news is the news. We can only go with what comes up. So we've got Moderna. We had a lot of debate, but went on important to split the difference there. The stainless SDKs important on the open sourced generative AI drug generator, and optional for all else. We have announcements for everybody. Paul, John.
No announcements for me. Paul, what's up on Monday?
Monday, we've got a great presentation where a consulting company that has been building traditional chatbots for the last 7 years is going to be talking about the cost difference and benefits of using LLM-based chatbots versus traditional ones, and also walking through the ranges of large language model chatbot costs from $1,000, $5,000, $25,000, $100,000. So a great, very practical session on our Monday Learning Lab for AI leaders.
All right, very cool. Let's make the time, folks. 7 p.m. Eastern. If you could make it, you'll definitely get a wealth of information. Thank you, everybody, for joining this week. Thank you for Michael, and I see Kevin in our room, and I see,
Mauricio.
I feel like Romper room. I see
Mauricio.
there was
Yeah.
Mauricio, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining. Good to see the conversation going on the side. We really appreciate it, and we will see everybody next week.
Happy Friday.